So as Deadleg pointed out earlier this week on the app formerly known as Twitter,
Mhm.
one of the top 12 teams in the Week 6 AP poll has gone on to win the national championship for 20 consecutive years. It's a weird but interesting fact. Deadleg, what we're about to talk about is a fact.
Mhm.
No getting around that. But does it mean anything? Let's stop here for a second. Does
Okay.
this fact prove that if you're not one of the best teams in the country in the middle of December, you could not win the national title in early April? Or is it, yeah, something that's true, but also something that you can't actually draw anything meaningful from?
I think you probably can draw something meaningful from this. And credit to John Gassaway, who works for ESPN, although he published this on his personal site. He first published it like 6-7 years ago, where he had noticed, uh, for whatever reason, that the week 6 of the AP Top 25 poll, a team that was placed inside the top 12 has gone on to win the national championship. And now it's 20 years running. And even there were a number of years where this was the case before 2003, through much of the 90s. Syracuse 2003 just happens to be the one exception. So yes, even like the Shabazz 7 seed UConn team, top 12 in that in week 6 of that.
They were undefeated. I went and looked that one up.
Yeah, they were.
That's the one I was like, were they? Because they
Yeah.
were a 7 seed in the NCAA tournament. They started great though. They were like, I think they were undefeated in week 6.
Correct. So does it mean? I think it actually does mean something. And so just for a little more clarity around this stat, and it is relatively fascinating. You have other weeks like week 3, the preseason poll, which Gasaway notes is the least reliable to predict a national champion among any others. At the top of it, meanwhile, the one right after Selection Sunday is the most accurate, which would stand to reason. None of those polls have a team year after year after year that's the eventual national champion that's even within the top 15. But the week 6 one happens to be that. And some of Gasaway's reasoning is that you get, he calls it, quote, an evaluative continental divide. And by that, he means you've got the preseason poll, which on balance, 1 to 25 on a yearly basis, is actually pretty accurate, telling you which team should be ranked relatively highly when we get to the NCAA tournament and performing deep into the tournament. So you still have some of that, but you don't have some of the misses as well. You've got enough early season data where teams that have played potentially in bracket play are capable of winning against quality opponents. And there are still a number of teams that, while this is by no means a direct barometer, you have teams that are in that top 12 that are yet to lose a game. And those teams might tend to go on to win a national championship or certainly compete therein. So there's no exact reason why this is the case, but it is the case. Like last year, UConn, week 6, they went on to win the title, was 3rd. Year before that, Kansas would win the title. Week 6 AP poll, it was 7th. Year before that, it was Baylor. In 2021, it was 2nd in the poll. Year before that, Virginia was 6th. I am not counting 2020. Kansas and Dayton, though, if you're curious, were both in the top 12. Virginia was 6th. Before that, Nova was number 1. Carolina was 7, and then Nova 15, 16. You can keep going down. It's somewhere in the top 12 overall. So it's a fascinating thing. This week is slow as hell right now. So why not dive into it? And we should power rank our likelihood 1 through 12 of who we think is going to win the national title from these set of 12 teams that are in the AP Top 25 this week.
Okay, I agree with you, by the way. I do think you could draw something meaningful from this. And I think one thing is that the list of actual national championship contenders, and I think you and I have agreed on this for years, is typically much smaller than you think. Like there's somebody there's a fan of a school right now ranked 19th in the country or 14th in the country, and they are certain, like, if things break the right way, like, we could be the national champion. And what history tells us is that no, you're probably not going to be.
That's Texas right now is 19. So if you're a Texas fan, I hate to break it to you, it's not going to happen.
It's over for you.
It's over.
It's over for you. I don't even know why you're like. Thank God your football team's great, because it's over for you. Hey, we'll give it another run next year, but this season is over.
Rodney Terry, our apologies, is packing.
Our apologies, Rodney. You know, I like the roster, but the season is over. You're 19th. That's not good enough. That's not going to do it. So, and then I think what it also illustrates is that not only is the list of national championship contenders typically smaller than some realize, but we typically know who those teams are pretty early. In fact, we often know who those teams are in the preseason, like before it even starts. But about now, we have enough We have enough data to to tell us, hey, these look like the best teams in the country, and typically one of the teams that looks like the best team in the country around now, well, for 20 straight years, that team has been the national champion. So, okay, for people who don't have the AP poll right in front of them, luckily I do. So let me run you through it.
Texas is 19th, by the way.
It's over for them. I like the roster, but it's over. Arizona is number 1 right now in the AP poll, followed by number 2, Kansas, 3, Purdue, 4, Houston, 5, UConn, 6, Baylor, 7, Marquette, 8, Creighton, 9, North Carolina, 10, Gonzaga, 11, Oklahoma, 12, Tennessee. All right.
All right. Before we power rank teams not on that list that in the preseason might have been considered in this bucket. Kentucky, not in the top 12.
Over for them.
Duke, not in the top 12.
Done.
By the way, Tyrese Proctor did not play again. Duke was able to pull away from Hofstra on Tuesday. Have an issue with the ankle there. Miami, not in the top 12 as well.
Over for them. Congratulations to Kim Pom for being correct about Miami. You have yourself an Oklahoma problem, though.
That's that. You know what? You give and take with it there. I'm trying to think if there's any other teams that are outside the rankings right now that receive votes that would have been there preseason. Arkansas, not for me.
Obviously, Indiana's not on the
Indiana
list.
Was not considered preseason. That's enough. I think the only other team, Arkansas is not in there by any means. It's not close. Was the only other team that might have been in that top 15 conversation. Although I had A&M high. It's not in there. It's over for them as well. I think that's pretty much it among notables that in the preseason you thought you might have been there, and now you are not.
It's old, man. It's tough when you look forward to the season all summer. Then it gets here, and then you find out on December 13th it's over for you.
It's over. Yeah. It's done.
It's tough. I don't know. But year 3 of the Jon Scheyer era. Looking forward to that.
Okay. Let's get to these teams. All right, we don't need to bury. We don't need to bury every other team.
No, it's done. It's over.
All right.
John Gasaway said it's over. I'm not arguing him.
All right.
That guy knows so many words. Man, I ain't never seen somebody writes about basketball knows more words than John Gasaway.
They're out there. You might as well use them. I
am 46 years old. I've been running around the world like nonstop, nearly 5 decades. I'm constantly hearing words.
Yeah.
Constantly. You would think at this point I've heard all of them. And then I'll click on a Gasaway column and I'll be like, well, shit, I never heard that word before. And so I'll Google it. And then he used it perfectly every time. He knows exactly what he's doing. I've never seen anything like it.
I'm glad you're auditing.
I'm not just taking his word for it. I don't trust him. I don't trust him blindly.
Okay.
I'm gonna fact check him, but he always gets it right. Whatever word, man, he knows exactly how to appropriately use a word nobody's ever heard of other than him. And somehow it's always in the dictionary. It's amazing.
If the words are out there, I encourage you to use them. I endorse the practice. Okay. 1 through 12. How many teams will we have in the same spot? Our likelihood, we are power ranking the 12 teams in the Week 6 AP Top 25, 1 through 12. Our likelihood, long term, the futures, if you will.
Okay, we're going to count them. Let's count them 12 to 1.
Ooh, 12 to 1. Okay, we're going to have
I think we're going to have the same playoff rankings.
There we go.
Let's leave Florida State out of the top 4.
I'll leave Florida State out of the top 12. How about that? I'll do you one better.
It's over for them.
It really is. Okay. Number 12. I think we've got the same team. Do we not?
And I want to be clear. I am not basing this on the top 25 and 1. The top 25 and 1 is resume influenced.
Mm-hmm.
And this, I'm simply saying, these are the 12 teams ranked 1 through 12 in the AP poll. I'm ranking them in an order of which I think they are likely to actually win the national championship based on nothing that has actually happened in the season. I'm just ranking them based on what's inside my big brain.
We got it. Yeah. Okay. Let's go. What do you got?
Number 12 is Oklahoma.
Correct. Oklahoma is number 12. Porter Motors Sooners, I've got 12. Number 11, I've got North Carolina.
I've got Gonzaga at 11.
Ooh, you've always hated Mark Few. Okay, you've got Gonzaga at 11. I
apologize. I don't feel comfortable with that.
Nope, it's done. I think we're gonna have the same team at 10 then. I got Tennessee at 10.
Well, I've got North Carolina at 10.
Oh, okay.
So our bottom 3 are the same bottom 3.
No, they're not. I don't have Gonzaga in my bottom 3.
Oh, somebody's looking to go back to Spokane, I see.
I've got Gonzaga at 9, and I did vacillate, if you will. I did deliberate. But it's Mark Few. He makes the Sweet 16 every damn year.
That's true.
Maybe they crack on through. Tennessee does not. Rick Barnes is like 26 and 26 all time in the tournament. That was my deciding factor. So I've got Oklahoma 12, Carolina 11, Tennessee 10, Gonzaga 9. Do you have the same 4 in your bottom 4?
No.
Oh, so you've got Tennessee even higher. You cannot stand Greg McDermott, can you?
I can stand Greg McDermott.
That's
I can
not
stand
Creighton?
him, no problem. Yeah.
Not Creighton?
No. Okay, so I got 12 Oklahoma, 11 Gonzaga, 10 North Carolina. Number 9, I can't say it. I can't even say it. I've got Baylor at number 9.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I've got Baylor at number 9. I don't feel comfortable with that.
That's not going to age well.
I don't feel great about this.
Baylor at 9, the unbeaten Bears. By the way, I've got a nugget on the unbeaten teams before we get out of the segment too. I will reveal when I get to Baylor, but we are not. I'm not close to Baylor yet. So you got Baylor at 9. I've got Gonzaga at 9. I've got Creighton at 8. Who do you have?
I also have Creighton at 8.
Okay, so we've got 2 teams in the same spot. We got the Jays sitting there at 8. I've got, and this is where, okay, so in my opinion, there are 2 tiers. All right. So the bottom tier is Creighton, Gonzaga, Tennessee, Carolina, Oklahoma for me. And then I was like, damn, this team is 7. One of these teams is definitely winning the title. I've got Houston, number 1 at KenPom right now. I've got Houston at 7.
I've got Tennessee at 7.
Okay. All right. There we go.
Oh, wow. You picked a wild time to stop believing in Kelvin Sampson.
No, I literally told you they're in the top tier. I'm right there. All right. I've got Kansas at 6. And the reason
that's the most disrespectful thing I've ever heard.
Whatever. The reason why I've got Kansas at 6 is they've got 4 really good players, and then I just got to see on everyone else, man. So that is my biggest reason why. Yes. For winning the title, I want to be clear. Winning 6 games in the tournament. We're talking futures specifically, not where they are right now. I'm talking likelihood to win the title. I've got Kansas 6.
It feels like you're one of those media members who's trying to play judge and jury with the Jayhawks. Like you don't like that they got off with that infractions case, and now you're trying to punish them with your power rankings. That's what it looks like to me.
That's not true, but I'm sure there are some Kansas fans out there that
I saw that on a message board.
Oh, really? Yeah, you're populating and checking in on the old message boards here, huh?
Yeah, I was on a Kansas message board, and they said that other guy, Norlander.
Are you?
That other guy, Norlander, he's always trying to play judge and jury with us. I'm sorry that Bill Self got a lifetime contract. I don't know that you need
more than okay with it.
I don't know that you need to punish his program in your power rankings.
I don't know if this is really a punishment. Who do you have at 6?
Marquette.
Man, you cannot stand Shaka Smart. I don't.
Marquette, you got to put somebody 6, you know?
Yeah, exactly. You got to put somebody at 6. Marquette.
That's right. That's the way this stuff works. That's the way, as somebody who ranks every morning, this is the way it works. You got to put somebody at 6. Can't just leave 6 open.
As a reminder, this is GP's true top 25 and 1 ranking. The other stuff that he publishes, that's not what he really thinks. They're right here. This
is where you get the real stuff.
That's the real.
This is the real stuff.
Just pure unfiltered. Okay, let's get to our top 5. 5 as the fella who put the Baylor Bears top 5 in the preseason. I have them top 5 here. I have Baylor 5th most likely to win the national championship.
I got UConn.
Unless I'm mistaken, as recently as like last week, you were sitting at a table with Dan Hurley at the Final Four, and now a team whose best looks as good as anyone in the country, you got them all the way down at 5. It's an insult.
I don't know if you know how numbers work.
Yeah,
but somebody's got to be 5.
I know how hypocrisy works. Okay,
I know. I mean, you've got Kansas down at 6. I never see anything.
Okay,
I got UConn at 5.
You got UConn at 5. I got Baylor at 5. I have Marquette at 4. Reasonably placed Marquette Golden Eagles sitting there at number 4. Who do you got?
Houston at 4. The team I identified that would be the final undefeated team in college basketball. There are only 7 remaining. The Cougars are still eligible. I have them as the 4th most likely team to win the national championship.
Okay, who do you have at 3? I think this is Kansas.
Arizona.
Wow. Wow. Look at you.
Arizona number 1 in the top 25-1, but not actually the team I would give the best shot to win a national championship.
I've got the Yukon Huskies sitting there at number 3. I've got Arizona number 2. I've got the Arizona Wildcats number 2, and 1, 2, and 3 here were quite the internal deliberation. But yes, give me the Wildcats 2. You must have Kansas too.
I have Purdue at number 2.
Look at you. Look at you. Wow. Wow. You really did it. You really did it. You put Kansas at number 1?
Sure, why not?
All right. Check out their in-season Torvik right now. Let me sort some data.
Oh, you don't know how to sort data, not on a Wednesday.
I can do it every day of the week and twice on Wednesday. Kansas right now, sitting there at 19th in efficiency so far this season. But the top 12, they got a shot.
Yeah, that sounds like nerd numbers to me.
You mean the numbers you literally reference every day when you do the top 25-1?
That sounds like some nerd stuff to me.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna trust Bill Self to have an awesome basketball team.
According to Torvik, right now, and among top 12 teams, Kansas is behind North Carolina, Tennessee, Baylor, Gonzaga, Marquette, Oklahoma, Creighton, Connecticut, Purdue, Arizona, and Houston. Is that 12th? Are they last? Is that all the other teams? I'm serious. Is there another team that we mentioned that is behind Kansas right now in efficiency? Gonzaga might be. Did I mention Gonzaga? No, I did. No, yeah, I think they're last. Unless there's Oklahoma. Maybe it's Oklahoma. Where's Oklahoma right now? No, Oklahoma's ahead. Okay. Well, there you go.
Well, then you and Gasaway can discuss it on your little nerd podcast. But over here at the Cool Kids table, we're going to continue to trust Bill Self to be awesome. What a risky thing. What a risky thing, assuming Bill Self's going to have an awesome basketball team.
I'm not saying he won't have an awesome basketball team. You're saying Kansas is the most likely national champion of the group, when statistically it's the least likely so far this season. I'm making a comment, not a judgment. There's a difference.
I can't wait to use this like later on a Sunday show. I can't wait.
It sounds like a nerd evaluation. This is how you get the reputation as an independent thinker. You look at all that data, you sort it, and then you say, I don't trust it this time. I trust Bill. What am I going to trust? The data or Bill Self?
I'm pretty sure you do nothing but trust the data every single time you do the top 25.
Here's the thing, though. There's only one thing in this world I trust more than the data. Bill Self. So now what?
Bill Self versus data, a rivalry that goes back decades. Except
I take Bill Self over data. I trust data over everybody else, but Bill Self over data. In other words, if the data says that if the data says that Duke isn't good, I just go, I guess Duke's not good. What a surprise. Didn't see this coming. All right. But if the data says Kansas is just mediocre, I say I don't trust it. I trust Bill Self.
As for the 7 undefeated teams, this is highlighted in Wednesday's court report, which he'll publish if you're watching live. It'll publish soon. If you're listening, it'll probably already be up. I hit up Pomeroy. I said, listen, we got 7 unbeatens left. I had 2 questions for him. I said, 1, how often do we get to this point in the calendar, December 13th, and we only have this few undefeated teams remaining? That info is in Wednesday's court report. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but he did give me the likelihood of each of these 7 remaining unbeatens to be the last unbeaten. And here they are in order. Houston right now, 40% chance to be the last one.
Oh, guess who predicted that with no numbers whatsoever?
James Madison.
GP.
Number 2, James Madison, who Parrish, I think, just started ranking the Dukes 2 nights ago after people told him he should do it for 3 weeks. But you know what he did? He looked at the data, got deep in his nerd feelings, refused to do it. 21.5%. James Madison, number 2 on the list. Baylor, the school and coach that Parrish has on his hate list. 3rd, 12.6% chance to be the last unbeaten team. Arizona, the best team in the country right now, is 4th on the list, but it's got that pesky Purdue game waiting this weekend. So because of that, Arizona has an 11.7% chance to have the first loss come last in the sport. Oklahoma is next all the way down the list here at 7.9% chance. Clemson in the Mississippi. Clemson 3.9%, Ole Miss 2.5%. Ole Miss still not ranked, by the way, was not in the AP top 25. So there you go. Little 6 weeks in statistical analysis of some of the best teams in the sport.
Ole Miss is in the top 25 and 1.
Not ranked though.
Well, what is history? Who's right and who's wrong? What does history say? Hey,
when it comes to Mississippi as a top 25 team, I think history says it's not.
No, AP poll versus top 25 and 1. One of us used to write a column every Monday pointing out how stupid the AP poll is.
Maybe that needs to be brought back, because did you see what happened this week?
I could do it every week.
Colorado kicked Miami out of the greater New York City area on a neutral floor and still isn't ranked, while Miami still remains ranked.
Okay? You know why? That game happened on a Sunday.
Yeah. Well, here's the problem. I actually have a quick little note in this in the court report too. You also had Illinois over FAU on a neutral. Illinois still ranked ahead of FAU. And the resumes are close enough where that shouldn't be the case. The problem with this is you have a significant number of voters, and it's not 90%, but it's probably closer to 50% than it is to 15% of reporters who are tasked with covering college football into mid-December, but they are voting in the AP top 25 poll. While they cover it to a certain degree, I'm convinced that a lot of these reporters just are not. I understand it. You got a job.
Lazy is the word you're looking for. Lazy.
Yeah, fair enough. That's why this happened. The process needs to be broken down and restarted. You can't. There's a couple. Again, I don't really care about the rankings that much, but it does matter to these programs and to marketing the sport and maybe having an accurate reflection of the state of the sport on a week-by-week basis. You can't have this. You can't have Colorado destroying Miami and Miami is still sitting there ranked the next day. What are we doing? Anyway, I'm done.
No, they're lazy. Like, I hear that all the time. Well, so-and-so covers football too. Okay. I rank 26 teams every morning. I have made a mistake where I go, oh God, I didn't realize that. Or, oh God, I did. Oh man, I missed that game. I've made a mistake like that in all the years of doing this every morning. Now, I'm not saying I've always been right. Like, rankings are subjective, but in terms of like, oh geez, I didn't even see the result of that game and I didn't move this team. I just missed it. That has happened to me one time where I woke up the next morning and I had realized I had missed something. And it was the morning after my birthday. We had stayed out late. One time.
How dare you?
I got multiple jobs. I don't have to cover football, but I do a lot of stuff. All right. It just comes down to, do you take your responsibility serious or not? Are you focused? Are you willing to put the work in? So my thing has always been, if you are actually an AP voter who doesn't have the time to focus on your responsibility that you agree to do, then don't do it. But I have no sympathy for, well, I had to cover college football too. Yeah, well, I had to do a bunch of stuff too every day. Somehow I managed to. I'm not, you could argue with the rankings, but don't ever think I don't put thought into it. Don't ever think I don't put the time into it. No, they're just lazy. It's embarrassing.
I can't take your ranking seriously though.
I should be the AP poll. It should just be me.
Folks, he's not kidding.
It really should. I should just be the